Love y'all. Find a shock pad. I'm just gonna explore. I know it says find a shock pad, but I feel like I might have missed some stuff over here while I was being chased to death by like 5 of these little creatures. Here's one. Nice. Well, that sounded like some mumbo jumbo right there that I don't want any part of. Look, it's my wrist x-ray, you guys. It's my wrist. You see how the bone is just hanging by a ligament? Yep. All right. Got a bench. We have 0 nodes, so we can't really upgrade anything. That's cool. There was some other stuff. Maybe a save point was in here? Yes, but I'm going to check everything so that I don't have to do this again. If we have to come back for this save point. If the game resets. I'm liking all the ammunition I'm getting for these. Status pack schematics. That could be an upgrade thingy. Cool. I'm really enjoying this game. Thank you for voting for this game. I think I would have been fine with BioShock and The Last of Us Part 2, but this one has been super fun as well. So Biological Prosthetic Center. Nice. I don't feel... I was just about to say, I don't feel like I'm gonna get scared now that I'm full. That was a complete lie on my part. Oh, I'm gonna go into the room with that thing. Sounds good. Oh, there's the shock pad. Guy? Little guy, I'm sorry. No? I'm gonna have to tell you no on this part. Where'd you go? Where'd you... Can you stop, please? I missed. Uh-oh. Somebody's gonna die. It'll be you, not me. Oh god, I got confident. There we go. I'm gonna step on it just in case. Alright. Always step on it. I'm sorry. Are these babies? Not the bebe. Not the bebe. Oh my god. It's been a journey. It's been an adrenaline. Like I told them earlier, you never know what sound is you or the bebes. Oh my goodness. It's the Borg nursery. Do you hear a bebe? To Z Casewell from D Leal. Zoe. A specimen 426 is ready for harvest. I was about to notify Alvarez to prep for medical leave, but when I checked the database, I saw Ensign stable, and it has been moved ahead of her. Is that right? Alvarez has been on the waiting list for 3 months now. I thought arm transplant took priority over a cornea. Leah to Caswell. To Leah from Caswell. Subject, clerical error? Here's your electrical error. One of them bought CEC stock at the last purchase. One didn't guess which one was suddenly bumped up to the vital personnel. It's not worth the headache to push back on, trust me. And before you think about filing an ethics complaint, just remember the wise words of oh my god, Hippocrates. Shit rolls downhill. Hippocrates. I don't want to have to fight a big... Ow, you little shit! Get you little Someone needs timeout. Hey, you... Oh, no. Get over here. You're not supposed to be up there. True, Link Poke, true. Hold on, let me kill this little guy. It just wants to upsies? No, it does not. It wants my brains. Come on, how many of them are you? How many are you? Come on. Why you gotta be a lot of you? Come on now. Stop moving. It's hard to shoot you when I'm moving. Oh look, it dropped something for me. Thank you. Just want to make sure I got the umbilical cord cut. Oh, look, it's my wrist again, you guys. Yep, for sure broken. Go find your mommy. No, bad idea, Neko, because then the mommy would be bigger and meaner and probably have more tentacle thingies, and you know mama bears. My limbs would be chopped off. Has anybody seen that horror film called Barbarian? It released this year. I just watched it on HBO Max. Oh my god. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but oh my goodness. Hey, you okay? You a little shot. Oh! Okay then. All right then. All right. Don't do that. Don't step over there.
Daniels isn't answering her rig link. What's your status?
Just chopping up corpses.
Used on the barricade. I'm heading back there now.
Watch the voltage on that pad. I'm not losing anyone else.
Yeah, I realized that this was a bad idea to step on that. That was a shocking result. It's really hard to aim these things. Like, you can pick it up, but you have to like you have to hold B and use your index finger on your right hand, same hand you're holding B with, to like move your, it's not hard, it's just uncomfortable. But it is possible. So, let's see if I can get somebody to pop up so I can shoot this at someone. Yeah, screw it. I think we're good though. I think I can just run now. Back to where we were going. Stupid gushy noise. I heal over time, right? Oh, okay. I was like, what's that noise? I'm out of help. I'm in danger. I am using a controller. I'm using an Xbox controller. Okay. Oh, I thought I was in danger, girl. Nice. Hey, there's a YouTube link if you want to go ahead and click subscribe. That would be very grateful and helpful to me. I think it's supposed to charge. Take cover. Okay. Okay. Strap metal still could have went through those little cracks and killed me. Just saying. But that's the analytical me. Saving just because we've had a long journey. Do I have enough? That's storage, but do we have enough for like upgrades? And like I always used to say, I mean, I'm gay, so I like to change up my costumes every so often because, you know, we like to, us as gays like to change our outfit, you know? Wardrobe change. Reveal yourself. The bright light. Nice. Nice. Stop. How much do we have? We have 7,300 in credit. That's our inventory. Plasma cutter. These are pulse rounds. I have a lot more plasma. Reveal a slightly bloodier helmet. Chat. Work. It looks like there's cosmetics that we can get in the game too, which would be awesome. Restore stasis energy. Do you think I should buy this? I think I should buy this. Oh, wait. Okay. And then just to... That's how much it gets up? Okay, that's totally fine. Okay. Alright, here we go. Into danger. Oh my god, I don't even see you! I don't even... Are you invisible? Oh my god. I'm so glad I bought... Okay, there we go. Cool. Like, I'm so glad I bought that health pack just to almost die again. This is a harder mode because my laptop likes to play games with me, and so sometimes the graphics don't always appear, but it's there. It's there. It's like that DVD bug with Wesker. Apparently they can be invisible.
Remember, when you reach the morgue, find Captain Mathias' body. Get his rig code, and the computer's all ours.
I'm literally just making sure you don't get up, buddy. Nothing personal. Yes, exactly. If you want to see the monsters, you have to pay extra for the DLC.
Security clearance required.
Okay. I can move these. I don't really think I need to right now because I don't have the clearance, but make sure you stack your stuff. Here we go. Something to read. Medical log. Dr. B. Warwick, Chief Psych Officer. Report of psychiatric observation for patient Harris B. Employee PM 19026EH. Harrison is asleep after another dose of sedative. He seems literally unable to sleep without chemical aid. Most people succumb to exhaustion after more than 50 hours of waking. Regardless of circumstances, not Harris. His Bizarre explanation of the events on the colony points to the same paranoia we've seen elsewhere, planetside. His guilt is not in doubt. Two security officers were present when he took Doctor Sarilio, oh my god, hostage, and murdered Nurse Evans. And Harris doesn't deny his actions, but he shows no remorse. In fact, he insists there was no crime, specifically that Evans wasn't a nurse when he killed her. This classic sociopathic behavior, but Harris. This is classic sociopathic behavior, but Harris exhibits no other symptoms. He is affable, and friendly, able to empathize and offer original opinions. When questioned about Evans' murder, however, he becomes withdrawn and uncommunicative. He claims the explanation is stuck in his mind, and that talking about it mixes up its message. He also undergoes intermediate hallucinatory periods, again similar to those experienced by other colonists. During his long waking periods, Harris exhibits writing behavior on any available surface, claiming the dreams need to speak and that he's attempting to make it whole again. What that means, haven't determined yet. Given the complexities of this case, I plan to reach out to my colleagues for more insight.
Loop and transmit to all personnel. This is Senior Medical Officer Nicole Brennan. Medical is overwhelmed. We need help. Look at his wounds. We can't handle so many trauma cases, and the command crew won't tell us what's happening. Season. Shit. Maybe I have some PHP left.
Not again. To remove the battery, ensure no power is being used on the circuit breaker. Okay. Okay. I need to get that battery out, but I need to make sure that there's no power.
Level 2 security clearance required.
Yeah. Oops. That would have been nice to use on a opponent.
Medical log, Dr. Nicole Brennan. So much for being paranoid. I repurposed this room to run counseling sessions without unitologists interfering. Now it's the only place I feel safe. I recovered a limb after yesterday's attack. Genetically, it's human tissue with bizarre mutations. But it's just a sample. It's not enough to figure out a cure. I need... Wait, where's that report from engineering? Here. The engineers pulled something out of machinery. Limbs missing, torso intact. Okay. Time for a real autopsy.
Hmm. Oh. No! No! Ah! Ah! No, you little shit. You dead? You ain't dead, huh? It's behind me, isn't it? Where'd he go? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Or no. Come on. Picture. Oof. Chat. What? These little demons? Oh my god! No, run! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. No! Okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna freaking die. No, I'm not. Come on. Open up the door. Open up the door. Oh my god. 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 I have no health. I have no health. Oh, there's no health. Oh, there's like 4 of them. No. Stop. Ah! Or nor. Or nor. Or nor. No! 2 little babies, like 4 adults. No head for me no more. Wait a minute. Oh god. I can't say that. Dang it, Neko. I was like, that sounded a little. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I wonder how far back I am. I wonder how far back I am. I don't remember when we saved last. There wasn't a save in this room, so I have to do it all over again. Well, I was the one that kind of thought of the naughty thought, so that was on me. But I am missing a head, so. All right.
Remember, when you reach the morgue, find Captain Mathias' body.
Not
Get his
that
rig
far
codes,
back.
and the computers all ours.
Not that far back. Oh, I can? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna like, I don't know, should I stack it like here so they don't like walk through over here? Let's prepare our like little, you know, in case the enemy comes, they can't come that way. I can loop the killer. I read all this earlier. Oh, okay. Yes, I can. I know you. Over here.
Medical log, Dr. Nicole Brennan. So much for being paranoid.
Get all this
I
stuff.
repurposed this room to run counseling sessions without unitologists interfering. Now...
Loop and transmit to all personnel. This is Senior Medical Officer Nicole Brennan. Medical is overwhelmed.
Level 2 security clearance required.
Okay, I'm gonna use that for when we're fighting bad guys. Yeah? Hurry up! Oh, you stupid. Well, it needs to take a shower if it's dirty. Where are these little guys? Lark, that hurt. Oh my god. Alright, they're here. Ready? Time to strategize. Alright, you guys, come here. How many of them are you? Fucking Flark! Get out of my way, baby. I'm not gonna stop. You're gonna hit me if I stop. Okay, little baby. Jesus Christ! My God! Go ahead and crawl for me, would you? I can't deal with you right now running around. think that's dead. Alright, now we got the big boys coming after us. Okay. Perfectly fine. We're all fine. We're gonna loop them to the explosion. Oh my god, come on, game. This is not good right now. Okay. And that's how you deal with shit like that. Anybody left? I didn't think so. Just to make sure. Just to make sure. Credits. Okay. Where the fuck did it go? Oh my god, it's a thinking! You have to. I don't know if they wake up like other zombies do or infected thingies, but you know, sometimes it's good to just turn them into mush, you know? Because unless they can regenerate like Majin Buu, you ain't coming back, Boo. Turn it all to mush. Gotta reload. Dude, I'm almost out of bullets. That can't be good. You found some help. That's good. What? What movie? What's this? Oh, two.
Mercer, it's Terrence Kine. You were in surgery, so I left this with Warwick. He'll be discreet.
Kine. Kine
Got
is
the
the name.
latest report from Aegis 7. The situation's worse than Captain Mathias.
Jesus Christ!
40% of the colony's population is now showing symptoms. Depression, hallucinations.
Really?
Violence. People are dying down there. I know it's linked to the marker somehow, but I just don't have enough data. Mercer, maybe I was wrong. We need answers by any means possible. That patient, Brent Harris, might be our last hope.
Please. Please. Why? Like, why do you have to scare me like that? I'm listening to an audio recording. Don't jump out. Oy, oy, oy.
Security request retrieved.
You left me. I woke in the dark with them scratching in the walls. Scratching like rats.
and you will look mean with them. Fuck it. I'll cut him out. I'll cut him out. I'll cut him out.
But so is like Spider-Man Scott, right? And like maybe fantasy Scott or sci-fi Scott. Maybe not always scaredy Scott. I am upgrading my HP as soon as I can. Are they real? Is this a holo? Is this real? Is this real? Oh, what the cavalry? What the Hello Kitty?
Security clearance required.
Oh, we need to recharge that. Please, thank you. Can I save? May I please have a save spawn point? Oh, goody, a save. What the Hello Kitty is going on in this spaceship? Oh. Oh. Oh, makes sense now. Oh, gosh darn it, the damn arm. Run! Now that wasn't caused by a meteor. That wasn't, no. Ah! You little baby. You baby! Stop it! I don't like the babies. I do not like the babies. Okay, I need to find a power thing or... Oh, look, I found one. I don't like the babies. They're too tiny. Oh, elevator. Makes them harder to hit. All the babies need a timeout on this station. It looks like we're probably going to go somewhere where there's no oxygen. Now this just looks like death, doesn't it? Is this the morgue? I didn't read the top. Tried it. What? What was that noise? Chat? What was that noise? Oh my god, you can't just do that! No! 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 Ooh, stuff to pick up. I am almost out of those bullets. I'm gonna switch to this gun because I need to keep my bullets for that gun. I have an explosive, which is good. It seems like I'm going to be using that, so keep those in mind. Kind of cutscene? Yeah, cutscene. There's the captain's body. Hey, Captain. What's up? How you been? No, 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 no. Oh my god, so much no right now. So much no. Oh my god, that was my bad. That was my bad. The fork? Ah! That's a bad loop. Hey, hold on. Just want to make sure that you blow up. Come in here. Come here so I... Fuck you, man. How are you still alive? Everybody keeps saying they want hugs, but you guys know it. They don't want hugs.
Isaac, what's your status? You have the captain.
Daddy's got hugs. I'll give you all hugs.
Transmitting
Come here.
voice
I'll
now.
give you a hug.
I saw it, Hammond. A flying one turned the captain's body into another one of those things. The same must have happened to Chen.
God, maybe the command computer has something. Where's Daniels when you need her?
Daniel seems like a secret agent for the church. When we read the log on the ship, it seemed like we didn't have much information on Daniels, but somebody was like giving them the confirmation. Security level 1. Your security clearance has been increased. Higher clearance stores and lockers are now accessed. That's good. Okay. Can I go back now? Or I must have made a loop, because I think if I open this door... Oh, yo, yo. Oh, my God. Medical log. Dr. G. Domus. Medical examiner. Report of death on ship. Subject Captain B. Mathis. It is my unfortunate duty to officially pronounce Captain Benjamin Matthias dead. Reports of the exact circumstances surrounding his death are conflicted and will be left for investigators to determine once we return to port. I will constrain my comments to the condition of the body. Subject was in general good health for his age, though a cursory blood test indicates his leukocyte count was very low. Leukocyte, I don't know. With I don't know that word either. Eosinophils, in particular, almost non-existent. His pre-flight physical exam showed on no such problems, indicating rapid onset, but it does not appear to have had any effect on his death. Multiple contusions on the arms and hands indicate a brief struggle pre-mortem. Light contusions around the rib cage indicate he was restrained, likely for a brief period. Cause of death was a single prolonged trauma to the ocular body, which continued on through the cavity wall and into the frontal lobe, causing rapid neurotrauma, seizure, and death. The angle of penetration into the ocular cavity indicates the injury was not self-inflicted. Examination required the removal of the object to confirm cause of death, but it has been preserved for the investigation team to study. I therefore have no alternative but to record a preliminary verdict of unnatural death. Whether deliberate or accidental is beyond my jurisdiction. Gotta get ammo.
Clearance confirmed.
Wait, what? The what? Did you with the what now?
Here. What the hell's happening?
The computer says the Ishimura's engines are offline. We're on a decaying orbit toward Aegis 7.
Oh god. I have to get to engineering.
There's no time. That tram station's offline. Unless... Here. Head back to the flight deck. I'll guide you from there. If this damage report's right, there's a shortcut to engineering.
Is the ship in orbit about to be crash landed onto this planet? I thought we like blew the planet core up for the material. Okay, so that door did lead to... See? So now we're all turned around. I'm gonna go see if I can open up this other one, because there was a security clearance on some of these lockers. Stats level 2. There we go.
Security clearance required.
Okay, that's good. Everyone is wholesome here. Wholesome. Everyone's whelmed trot. Wait, hold on. And feeling the aster. It's some time. Wholesome. Thank you for that. Can I... I still can't heal. Holy crap. Was there a save point somewhere? I feel like I'm about to die. Oh yeah, I blew this up. There is a save point. Nice, like right here. Well, before I do that, I would like to investigate my upgrades here. What do I have in my inventory that I could sell for money? Sell for restore credit. Sell. Now we have restore stasis energy. We have a bunch of this ammo. What's this? Bring this part to the bench to extend upgrade. Okay. Alright. And now I can shop. I think I want this. That's ammo. That's ammo. That's health. I want this. Because it's upgrades. Upgrades are best. So, that's all that. Upgrade. You're not sharpening your claws? Where was there an upgrade bench? There was a lot of, like, clearance, right? I'm trying to figure out where I need to go for, like, level 2 clearance. I don't even want to go down there. It's all fine. Oh, what about that guy banging his head on the door? What was his name? I called him Fred, right? Glizzy Gamer, welcome in. Hi, everybody. Good place to do a little raid chat. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Scott. I'm a variety streamer here on the Twitch stream platform. We like to play a wide variety of games, from sci-fi, fantasy, superhero games, and of course right now it's the horror genre. So welcome in, Raiders. Glizzy, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. I hope you've had a great Sunday and or Monday, wherever you are. Let me give you a shout out real quick. Welcome in. Yeah. Hi, all. What were you guys playing? If it would let me know. I don't know if it would let me know. We are playing Dead Space. This is my first playthrough of Dead Space. We're playing the remake. It's on the PC. So it is very scary. It is awesome as well. Jump scares throughout the whiz-wom. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just made it up. And yeah, I mean, I'm just having a great... Pokemon? Which Pokemon? Love Pokemon. Who's your favorite Pokemon? My favorite Pokemon is Charizard. Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, because that was the very first Pokemon I selected in Red and Blue. I think it was Red, actually, that I played, and my little brother played Blue. Yeah, love Pokemon. The headbanging guy will be fine soon. He'll run out of headbanging hits. Charizard's Pokemon. Nice. So, I mean, I wanted to pick Bulbasaur, but because green's my favorite color, but something like about Charmander that I just was drawn to, and then Charizard is amazing. So definitely Dragonair. That's a good choice. I definitely, when I do some Pokemon game journeys, Dragonair is on the list, because I usually get like a Ghost or Psychic. I get a fighting-ish type, fire, grass, water, and then now you have so many Pokemon that have 2 different types. You want to try to stack your team with multiple types. And Dragonair is the dragon type, and I like to pin him on there. So, yeah. Thank you again for the raid, and welcome in, raiders. Again, if you don't know me, I'm here on Twitch. I'm a queer streamer. And we just play a lot of different video games. Between story-based games, when I'm not playing those, when we're selecting the next game to play, I like to play Fortnite and Dead by Daylight. So, yeah. Thank you for the raid. Here, we'll give you a little flex. Rawr. And I hope you like horror games or scary games. So, because this was the genre I picked, and this is the poll. The Dead Space won the poll, and this is what we will be playing. We're about, how many hours? We're about 4 hours into the game. So we really just started this game today. I stream on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays around 9:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. And the Pacific Standard Time, I'm here in San Francisco, California, the gayest place in the world. So it's amazing. No worries, I understand. I always, I get it. And you just decompress and de-stream. I understand. No worries at all. Thank you for the raid. I truly appreciate it. And I hope you had a great day. I hope you had fun. And I will catch you later. Pikachu's your favorite row? Pikachu is pretty cute, huh? Have you ever wanted to evolve it into a Raichu? I think Pikachu is faster, so it's better to... it just depends on what you're trying to do. If you like cuteness, if you like Pikachu, keep Pikachu. But at the same time, a quicker Pokemon can attack first, and if you can get it with a status, then it kind of helps. Kyogre's your favorite Pokemon? That is a very good Pokemon. When Ruby and Sapphire came out, my little brother had Ruby, I had Sapphire, so Kyogre was my legendary Pokemon. So yeah, I get it. Like it. Everybody else's favorite Pokemon out there, if you want to say your favorite Pokemon, let me know. Alright, so we have to call it... Okay, the tram just came out of nowhere. But this is fast travel, according to someone in chat earlier. So we can now go... Ah, I see. We go to medical. And... Oh, we're at medical. Let's go here.
Flight deck tram control.
I also like Gengar, Alakazam. There's a bunch I like. Up until the point where it got to, like... Sun and Moon had some good art Pokemon. I liked Rowlet because he's cute and he's grass and he's an owl. I love owls. But after Sword and Shield, I haven't played the newer one. So, Alolan Pikachu, nice. Meowstic, can't decide. Shiny Alolan Raichu, I had on Pokemon Go. And I was so happy about it because I was like, heck yeah. Are these the upgrades? Is that the normal beginning suit? How do we get back to the, like, original suit? I went a workbench to upgrade my weapon. That's what I'm really looking for right now. I could go there. Alright, here we go. Who else? I mean, I'd have to see a list of Pokemon to really be like, this is it, this. I had one before. Survivor, I like Survivor. I think that was Diamond. No, that was Black and White. Survivor was cool. Y'all, I need help. I'm gonna die. I did save, right? I think right now, for safety's sake, let's just continue down the story path instead of me searching around, since I have level 1 clearance now.
Security recording retrieved.
Okay, safe spot. That's good. Save complete. Okay, that wasn't creepy. I thought it was actually somebody to fight, but it was just a hologram recording, and that was not cool. I don't think they made it, chat. Raichu's cute. But slower. More powerful, I think, but slower. So, Pachirisu was actually one of the best Pokemon used in player versus player Pokemon battles because it was... This game. This damn game. Like, why? I'm going the wrong way. What the hell? Okay. I didn't even need to go that way. You see what I mean about the squishy noises? Thank you for visiting the USG Ishimuru. Alright, back here. So the fact that these creatures attack the core of the ship to blow it up means that there's intelligence
this damage
behind
report
them.
says there's a broken cargo lift just beyond the hangar doors. I'll open them now.
Entering zero gravity.
You'll need your thrusters to reach it, but that lift shaft should take you straight down to engineering.
Okay, we have chapter 1 and chapter 2 complete now. That's awesome. Chapter 3, course correction. Oh, y'all. Health packs. I have a feeling as soon as I get it there, I'll have a limited oxygen. Because we're about to enter something. So ready? I just want to make sure I know the path here. Alright, here we go.
Entering vacuum.
Yep. Vacuum of space. We have 65 seconds. Oh, this replenishes our oxygen. Okay, that's good. Oh my gosh, did you see the little babies? I saw the little babies. I am going the right way, right? Okay. I think this might be it.
Exiting zero gravity. Exiting vacuum.
This has level 1 clearance, we can open it.
Clearance confirmed.
No! No, no, no. I have... What's wrong? These little tiny health packs. I don't want these little tiny health packs. Give me a full health pack, please. Engineering logs. There's one up there, I think. I love it. I love space. All right, engineering log. C. Danvers. Organic growth and engineering. Adding this to my maintenance priority requests. Maybe something in writing will make them pay attention. That unidentified growth reported elsewhere on the ship has reached engineering. Not even medical knows what the hell this stuff is. It looks like someone threw their guts up all over the walls and smells about the same. It's spreading faster than we can cut it, which is pretty disgusting in itself. It's already busted the cargo lift, and it's getting into the engine spoke. If we can't find a way to stop it soon, it'll all be over for the main engine chamber by the day after tomorrow. Meantime, I'm heading to the mining deck. They've got PFM 100s in storage for ice mining, and they can spare the fuel. Maybe cauterizing this stuff will do the trick. Just hope it doesn't smell worse when it's on fire. Yeah, but the thing is, running out of oxygen is just like passing out. And in deep space, you don't run out. I mean, unless you're in a suit like this, in deep space you would freeze before you die, and then your blood like explodes. Sorry to get graphic, but that's the science behind it all. So you don't have to worry about that. But imagine drowning. Yes, it sucks, but it's like when you pass out, it's much better than dying by fire.
Correct course immediately.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, this is just a tram. Looks like I can turn on, though. We're having another one of those moments. There we go. There we go. Now we have a train here. To and from.
Station now accessible.
Cool.
Thank you for your patience.
I know, right? Well, if you were gonna go... If you were gonna go, it would be one or the other. Upgrade station? Storage station. Where are the damn upgrade stations? Why did I think that that was a baby when it moved? Yeah, give me a second before I click on that. I want to get my bearings so I know where to run.
Engineering log. Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple reporting. Christ, still can't believe the chief is gone. It's all fallen apart since the captain died. Everyone down here is on their last nerve. We thought the rioting was the worst of it. Till those things came through the vents. Their faces. Fuck, those were my lunch buddies, Liz's friends, old boyfriends. And out of nowhere, the engines are screwed. Primary's laboring, we're hemorrhaging fuel. Fuck if I know why. I'm taking Danvers to the fuel depot to fix it. Gotta keep the team focused or it'll crack. Temple out.
Seeing you in the control room. Any news on the engines?
Yeah, but it makes no sense. They're out of fuel. The centrifuge is offline. We're tethered to a 4 trillion ton payload. Without the engines, it's dragging us down to the planet.
Can you handle it alone?
Sure, fix the centrifuge, get the fuel running, then do a full restart. But you'll need to stabilize our orbit from there.
Standing by. Fast as you can, Isaac.
Okay, so I have to go to specific sections, huh? Did I save already? I don't know. Let's save again, just to make sure. Course correction. Nope. Good. Alright. Ooh-wee. Oh, that's just a suit. This has way more bullets, so I need to use this gun. Okay. What's this? Oh. New weapon? Oh, come on.
Security request retrieved.
We need help down in engineering. Danvers, get those wires up. Come out. I don't want to. I don't want to. Right, Henderson, your teeth. He's pulling his teeth out. Just hold it. Where the fuck is security? Oh, God. He's dead. No, he's alive, but he hit that sink pretty hard. His own teeth. Chief, what the hell is happening? I don't know. Cancel security request. Henderson needs the medical bay. And a shrink.
Ooh. It says, no God, no fear. No God, no fear. No as in knowledge. I mean, how many bad days can you have on this spaceship? Mondays, Tuesdays, pulling your own teeth out.
Cannot determine clearance levels. Master security override required.
Oh my! I'm Why do they do that? They let me upgrade my item, and then all of a sudden I get bamboozled by a crazy little alien mutated thingy. Okay, plasma cutter upgrade. Graph extended. A new special ability is now accessible. In addition, power node has been salvaged. Plasma cutter, that would be... Oh, so damn, we have 5 of these. I'd like to upgrade my suit. Size, status zone, status energy. Can I do this yet? Damn it. Okay, so I need to go like this, huh? And then go like this. Yep. Okay. We have 3 nodes. Do you think we should go for more HP, or do you think we should upgrade weapon? I think we should upgrade weapon. Reload time could be quicker. And yeah, that way next one we can do damage, we can do capacity, reload time. Okay, so we got a good upgrade for most of our stuff. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 health packs now on our back. And I think balance is power, right? Balance is good.
Autopsy report, Dr. Nicole Brennan. Rig identifies the subject was junior engineer David Swenson. The subject was production machinery.
Hello, Scott. Check Steam tongue.
Hi, Jack. How are you? Thank you for the sub.
Some postmortem spasms.
Oh, that's worse than spasms.
The chest contains a yellow bile seen in other specimens. I've seen this bile react to dead or bioprosthetic cells. The dead tissue is absorbed, recombined, then reanimated.
I have postmortem
Vials have
spasms
genetic markers with
in bed.
human DNA and that growth on the walls. It's all connected to the marker from Aegis 7.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate you. I will redeem myself.
Dr. Kine studied the
You're
marker.
too kind to me. You're too kind.
Dr.
I hope
Kine
you've been well.
finished. Unless he's with the survivors on the mining deck. Rest easy
Heyo!
now, David. I promise.
Y'all know this. Y'all know this stuff.
And log.
All right, we hope Nicole is alive. Jack, thank you again for the subscription, and I'm guessing you just gifted a video game, one of something that was on sale. So I appreciate you. Excuse me, what's here? Oh, we already saw this. No, I already saw that movie.
Autopsy report, Dr. Nicole Brennan. Rig identifies the subject.
You gifted nothing? You gifted nothing. Nothing. Oh, please. Yes, you do. I appreciate it. Oh, please. Stop being so modest. Next is this way. Evacuate this area immediately. That's awesome, because we're going right to that area, so... Did I miss something on the... I was looking at the camera. What happened? Oh, nor. Or nor. Is there a boss in here? Ooh, money.
Warning. Fuel reserves depleted. Main engines offline.
Now that didn't sound very nice. Okay. My goodness. I think I'm running out of bullets. Yeah. I am running out of bullets. Nice. Just, you know me, I like to check everything out before we continue on to the main objective. Make sure your oxygen is refueled. Like this? Or... Oh, you know what? I haven't even assigned this yet. So this can be assigned, equipped it to this. What's this one? A rare, expensive... Okay, so we could sell that. Yes, you can turn it... This is good. So this is like... Horizontal, vertical. I like this ability. Because it said aim for the limbs, you know? Like, shooting it in the face never really works. Which is kind of different from zombie games, because, like, you want to shoot them in the head, right? But this one, you want to shoot them in the limbs. And we have these that I can pick up and throw. Wait, oh, okay. I was supposed to get on that. But also, now that I'm over here... Money. Locked. Okay. Storage, so we'll sell since we're at the shop now. I don't know if I did a loop-de-loop or... inventory, sell for 3K. Again, I think I should save for these, because upgrading your stuff is always better than, like, ammunition and stuff, unless you're not able to save ammunition. Have I been here? I feel like I'm gonna go back to where I need to go. Oh, hell no. Oh, I know where I am. I just did, okay, yeah. Here we go, here we go. It was down here. This is engineering. This is ridiculous. It's so big. Starting to shake. That's not good. Oh. Yeah, I was not messing with that, sorry. But no. No, thank you. Die. Ah, I'm wasting my health. Dang it. Oof, that's in...
Security card required.
So I really need to start utilizing the bombs, and is that the security card? Nope.
Last valve done, Chief. Progress report filed by Jacob Temple. The engine problems aren't a malfunction. Someone shut off the fuel lines to the primary engine and damaged the valves to hell and back. We just wasted an hour fixing them. Now we need to restart the south refueling station, but some jackass turned off the power and locked up the circuit breaker. No engines. We're gonna hit planetfall soon. What now?
There's got to be someone around here who had a spare access card. Go see. Wait, you hear that? Stafford, go!
No thank you. No thanks, yeah. No thank you. Does this small pack of health even get up like one full health thing? It's a lot of oxygen, so I'm guessing like as soon as something happens, we're gonna enter zero gravity. Yeah, that was cute. What is it? Is it gonna be going somewhere? Come on, jump out. I dare you. That was awesome on my part. Save station. Okay, that's what we needed. Okay. No power.
Isaac. Damn it.
Daniels? You made it.
Thank God. After the bridge, we thought that...
Glad to disappoint. I barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them, but I don't think they know I'm here. Isaac, I've tracked down your rig. You're in engineering, right? I'll get myself admin privileges. Maybe I can help.
Okay. We need to give it power.
Logging security card.
Okay. Circuit breaker. Life support, lights. So do we want life support or do we want lights? I want life support. I can always just... I got my own little flashlight. Jesus Christ. Come here, buddy. Oh my God! Not that quickly, buddy. Damn, I forgot they run, man. I'm just gonna save again because why the flark not, right? Am I doing something wrong here? I hear babies! I hear the babies and one got me. There's another baby like right here. I just saw it. Oh, it's not a baby. It's not a baby. Please hurry. How did you survive? Like, how? Oh, I wish I had health. Oh, Jesus Christ! Where is it? Hi, Yeti! Hi, Yeti, sorry. Oh, Yeti. Yeti, Yeti, Yeti. Is it on the roof? Oh, I wish I had health. Don't go over there. If you don't go over there, chat. Don't go over there. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Refueling sequence activated. Sufficient fuel to fire primary engine.
Okay, I've got a fuel reading. Only a quarter full, but it should be enough.
I still need to get the centrifuge working before restart. Someone really screwed with these fuel lines.
Move fast, Isaac. Aegis 7's looking damn close out there.
I didn't, yeah, the graphics didn't load in, but I knew it was there. I just knew. Oh god, oh god! No! Ah! Go the flark, flark. Come here, buddy. Come over here. I don't want to kill my... Gosh darn it. I hurt right there. Okay. Okay, we're good. Everything. I'm gonna save. Oh my god. I should. Armor engine. Alright. Alright. 2 centrifuge. Okay. I am running out of these bullets, but that's okay. I need to restock on health, and my magnet's okay. Oh my goodness, y'all. Warning, mandatory decontamination. There's something up there I want to get. Give me that credit. Wait, where'd it go? It was definitely money. Dang it. I just hid it behind the locker. Give me the credit. I wonder if I could throw that at them. I probably can, right? I'm just gonna keep this with me. I'm gonna drop it. There's okay, I can throw that. Here's a locker. Need help. Wants me to go that way, but there's a door here. Open the frickin' door. Open the frickin' door. Hell. Right? Yes. Why is my heart racing? Why can't I hear it? Assurance. Dragonfly, making the virtual real. Maybe this is all just augmented reality, chat. What do we have? We have 0 nodes, so we can't even upgrade.
Clearance confirmed.
Okay. Engineering deck log F hollow. Check-in time 17:38 hours. Inspection 0505 zones checked. Condition subpar. Notification filed. Comments. More absences. It's not just the unitologists sneaking off for religious exemptions or whatever. We're seeing serious gaps in the rotation. People going on sick with sleep deprivation, self-inflicted injuries, or just disappearing. They go off shift and they don't come back. Someone said the ship's been attacked. Bullshit. We're at the ass end of nowhere. Who'd come all this way to attack a mining ship? And yeah, the captain is dead, but Carmack says one of the bridge staff killed him. I swear to God, if the rumors on this deck are out of control. Update. Lost contact with the bridge. No rig light. No security hardline. Nothing. Okay, this is beyond rumors. Fuck this. I'm getting out while I still can. Thanks for lurked in. Okay. Press that. Thank you for the lurk. Dang it. Did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. The rumors are on this deck.
Decontamination sequence activated. Please stand by.
Or no. Oh my gosh, it's the little guys. Dang it! They're hard to see. Where'd they go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, he's up top, he's up top. Dang it! He's gonna blow him up. You little... Oh, crap. What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, just behind me, isn't he? Why are you making me fight in this tiny little room? Come on now. Health packs, thank you. Nice, almost full health, sweet. Okay, that was intense. Not in space, intense.
Decontamination sequence complete. Thank you for your patience.
Oh yeah, you're welcome for the patience. I am whelmed, trot, and feeling the aster. Centrifuge control north, centrifuge control south. Why is there always a north and south control panel that I have to go to? Alright, so these little saw things, I don't know if I just hit an invisible thing, but they did nothing. Alright, I'll go this way then. I was trying to get to... I missed that. So, rig transcript. RIG unavailable for priority message. Transcript provided to available storage. J Temple. Ty? Young? You there? Expletive. What's keeping them? The centrifuge is still offline. We're running out of time. C. Danvers. No. Rig link contact since they left. Chief? They're gone, aren't they? J Temple. But we armed them with everything we had. They'd have sent word if there was trouble. What did they fall down? An expletive hole? There's a full tectonic load hanging off of our ass. Chat's gonna have a field day with that one. Danvers. What if we turn off the gravity tethers? Drop the load by ourselves. J Temple. I tried. Unless I rip out half the ship's wiring, it takes a CEC board member's override to drop all that ore. Can't risk off the shareholders. And without that centrifuge, the balance of the ship, we're taking planetfall in hours if we're that lucky. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Entering zero gravity. Warning. Centrifuge offline. Please attach generator modules manually.
That stuff is grand. hey. Oh. That's not good, right? I mean, can they float as well? Oh my goodness! Yeah, they can jump. Where'd he go? I think I got him. Health pack. Oh, it's a dang leaper. There's a lot of stuff just floating around that I can pick up. Sorry, I can't pick you up, buddy. Okay. So they're not sticking. Why aren't they sticking? I have to turn something off.
Exiting zero. Entering zero gravity.
Attach clutch engineers Mars to restart centrifuge.
Generator module attached. Generator module attached. Clutch engaged. All personnel clear for centrifuge restart.
Where is it? I just want to know where it is. I hear it. Where are you? Right, found you. There you are. Knew that was gonna happen. Really knew that was gonna happen with all these oxygen packs everywhere.
Re-establishing balance with
Okay.
tectonic load.
Looks like I have 75 seconds to get across this, and survive. And
Looks like the centrifuge is back online.
Or I
All
die.
that's left is restarting the engines, right?
Well, that was fun. Wow. How was I supposed to know that thing goes around in a circle? I was on like the security area of that. Like, why is that even a platform if it's not safe? What the flark? There's probably an autosave, right? Like as soon as I hit that button, I would hope so. Yep. Alright, let's figure out what we gotta do here. Yep.
Looks like the centrifuge is back online. All that's left is restarting the engines, right? Ready when you are.
Run, dude. Oh god, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I feel like it's coming right here. Yep. Yikes. Very okay. There's a small window from as soon as it laps. Yeah, splat again. where I can plan it to... I don't know if I could slow it down, but it would be probably wise to see if I could do that. That might be the situation here. Slow it down with the kinetic thing and then run to an area that's got a cubby hold so I don't get just destroyed by this machine. I think that's the best option right now. And it's passing right through. This one's going to pass right through soon, so let's see.
Looks like the centrifuge is back online. All that's left is restarting the engines, right? Ready when you are.
I don't know. I think this is a bad idea. I think I do need to slow down. I thought I tried to do it with my low power. It didn't work, so let me try. I'm just going to be patient. I only have like 60 seconds of oxygen, but that's okay. Who would have known? Who would have thought, huh?
Looks like the centrifuge is back online. All that's left is restarting the engines, right? Ready when you are.
I'm a little confused. Why do I... It's not letting me do the thing. Huh? I can't make that run. I thought it was Y. It's not letting me do Y. Maybe that run to the... No, I would splat for sure. I don't know. I'm scared. Oh, okay. I gotcha. My kinetic powers would not be strong enough for that anyway, so let's go. Oh, dude, you have got to be kidding me. I'm gonna run back. Oh, God, you've got to be kidding me. Splat him. Splat him. Cool. See you later, dude. Holy crap, I'm running out of oxygen. Okay, okay. Clark, you son of a... Okay. I am not gonna die again. You got me? Here it comes. Oh my gosh. That was close. Remember this one up here too, so be... Okay.
Run, bitch! Run!
Oh, holy shoot. Gosh, get out of my way! I don't have time for you, dude. I really don't have time for you. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. Oh my gosh, where's... I think we're good.
Exiting vacuum.
Holy crap. I wasted a grenade. Well, that's fun. Is this a boss? Come on. Just want to make sure you're dead. video games. Yo. It looked like that big eyeball guy from Resident Evil, huh? Okay, I have no bullets there. I had no time for that guy. I couldn't deal with that guy. Workbench. Let's do it. No nodes, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay, fine. 25 bullets. Huh? No. Schedule's right there. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Get out of here, Greg. You're not. Oh, a health pack. Yay. Yay, chat, yay. I wasted all of my ammo on that big guy pulling us in. Okay, so there's one more thing that needs.
Storage is unlocked.
Primary
It'll
engine.
give you access to the engine chamber.
Nice. Oh, we can sell this for money. We can buy an upgrade. Yeah, let's do that. Always save. I think this is where I need to go, right? Yep. Alright. Gotta ignite the engine.
Entering zero gravity.
Hey, Hammond. I cracked the secure files. DC was here for more than just a mining claim, huh?
What do you mean?
This outbreak started on the colony after the miners dug up some artifacts. Something alien.
That's impossible.
But it would explain why Aegis 7 is meant to be off limits, right? Earth God's orders. When the miners found the artifact, they reported hallucinations, paranoia, suicides. But the Ishimura brought this marker on board anyway. Like that was the plan.
Wait. The marker.
Okay, back up. Where's this marker now?
In cargo. All packaged up for delivery.
Man. See it? Oh crap, it's right in front of me. Oh no. Oh, I gotcha. Where'd he go? Come here, you. Shh, reveal thyself. Don't know. I think I killed it. Sweet.
Exiting zero gravity.
That is so loud. New weapon. Flamethrower. Flamethrower. We probably need to use that, huh? Most likely you need to use it to, I don't know. Oh, hey. We're flaming now. Flaming hot Cheetos. You? Anybody else hear something in the wall?
Engineering log. My last log. Temple reporting. I can't raise anyone on Wrigley. I think my team is gone. I found the kinesis module that someone used to bust the centrifuge. Burned out. Who would sabotage the Ishimura at a time like this?
A religious nut?
If anyone's left. And then I'm finding Elizabeth and getting us the hell off this ship.
Good luck with that. Come on, I know you're here, alien. I know you're here. I'm just gonna drop that for now. I might be able to use it later. So, level 3 clearance. Oh my gosh. Sorry about your whole... body, your whole body. Okay, we have some stuff for suits. You know, I always say go for air, so... HP, so... We'll do air, we'll do size, but next will be the HP. Did it all up on me? Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. Sorry, I just don't want you to get back up as an alien.
Clearance confirmed.
Sorry. I just can't deal with you right now. Oh my goodness! Come on. Run, Isaac. Poor guy, poor me. Okay, elevator. Like, where did that guy even appear? Oh my sh... It's got babies. It's got little babies. Oh my... I have no health. Okay, health, I think, maybe? No, credits. Oh my god. Oh my god, it hurt me! Alright, health is stable for now? Why did I know you were gonna get up? I'm just gonna pick you up. Oh, that's guy. Gosh! My bad.